Everyone, and welcome to Grandstand Sports Data. In today's video, we're giving you the Western Conference Final betting preview between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll be covering the statistical breakdown, the fundamental breakdown, and we'll be giving you the betting analysis throughout the video. So let's get right into it. All right, so looking at the regular season statistics here, you're seeing two elite teams, but OKC is flat out dominating statistically. You can start at the top. OKC ranks number one in both power rating and SRS, so they're not just winning, they're controlling the tempo and controlling the scoreboard with consistency. Offensively, they got a top three offensive rating and rank first in turnover rate. That means they're efficient and they don't give away possessions. Massive edge in a playoff series. Minnesota is solid offensively too, but they turn it over more, and they're not punishing teams on the offensive glass. Flip it to the defensive side, and it's the same story. OKC again ranks number one in defensive rating, and they're top two in both effective field goal defense and forcing turnovers. Minnesota has strong defense as well, but they're just a tier below. The big takeaway from this: OKC is elite on both sides of the ball and takes care of the basketball. Those are championship metrics. Minnesota's good, but the gap in turnover differential, rebounding, and then even free throw rate could swing this series fast if they don't clean it up. So, from a matchup perspective, you can see Minnesota's got more total playoff win shares in this lineup, but OKC is showing more efficiency per minute. Look at that 1.084 in terms of their win share per 48 as a team compared to Minnesota's at 0.867. That tells you OKC's core is making more impact when they're on the floor, even if they've logged fewer total playoff minutes. Now, looking at SGA and Chet Holmgren. They are clear statistical leaders here for OKC, and when you throw in high efficiency guy like Jalen Williams, you've got a top heavy unit that's young but dangerous. Their pace is faster too, so expect tempo to be in their favor unless Minnesota can drag it down. Now, Minnesota's got the playoff pedigree, right? They got Conley, Gobert, and even Randle bring veteran stability. But you can see the drop in efficiency with guys like Julius Randle and Alexander Walker. They're not producing much relative to their floor time. The bottom line here is that OKC has more depth in terms of efficient production and will try to dictate pace. Minnesota is going to need their top four to shoulder a heavy workload and hope that playoff experience will win out. That pace gap could be a deciding factor in this series. Now, this slide highlights the playoff factors that have historically produced profit, and OKC checks a lot of those profitable boxes. OKC holds the edge in 5 of the top returning indicators over the last 5 postseasons. They win on pace, offensive rating, turnover percentage, both on offense and in defense, and turnover percentage differential. That 17.51 unit return on turnover differential is massive. It's been one of the most predictive and profitable metrics in playoff betting, and it heavily favors the OKC Thunder. Now, Minnesota does show a couple of bright spots. They got offensive rebounding and drawing fouls, as indicated by their free throw per field goal attempt edge, but those categories haven't returned nearly the same profit historically. And when you stack that up next to OKC's advantage in volume based metrics like pace and possessions per game, it becomes more clear this team thrives in chaos and wins by pushing the tempo while forcing mistakes. So if you're betting the series, you're not just betting rosters, you're betting proven playoff patterns. And this chart is telling you OKC, their style has cashed more consistently in these type of matchups. So looking beyond the surface numbers, this slide gives you a clear trajectory of where these teams are heading against the spread, and that's far more valuable than a season-long record. Minnesota, while sitting at a losing against the spread record and a minus 6.05 units overall, has shown subtle signs of stabilization in starting around about game 83. They've been hovering right at that minus 6 to minus 7 unit range without much movement upward or downward. That tells us they've cooled off from their worst stretch, but they're not gaining momentum either. In betting terms, tread lightly unless they show sharp market value in individual matchups this series. Now, OKC, meanwhile, is a freight train, right? They're already one of the best against the spread teams through 82 games, but what's impressive is that even in late season stretch where teams often become overvalued by the market, they're maintaining profit. Their against the spread returns stay above that plus 25 units throughout the final 10 games, showing consistency and market resilience. This isn't just a hot run, it's a sustained edge. In a series like this, you're looking at a Thunder team that continues to beat expectations late in the year versus a Wolves squad that isn't plummeting anymore, but also isn't giving you a reason to back them blindly against the number. Keep that in mind when analyzing each game, especially if OKC is laying short spreads or even catching some points. From a money line perspective now, this slide gives you a clear view of late season trajectory, exactly what matters when projecting series betting value. Let's take a look at Minnesota first. They're treading water through about game 82. Nothing special, right? Hovering around even money line returns. But from game 83 on, this team is taken off. The trend line is strong, showing an impressive plus 3.83 units finish, and they've been beating teams the market, though they probably shouldn't have. That's important, right? It means they're peaking late and the public may still be underestimating them. It's probably from those wins against Los Angeles. OKC now, on the other hand, is showing signs of plateauing. So don't get me wrong, at plus 8.56 units and a 77-16 record, that's elite. But look closely at the trend after about game 83. The Thunder is still winning, but they've lost profitability. The black line is leveling and even dipping slightly. That usually signals market over adjustment. So you're paying a premium to back them now. So for this series, if Minnesota keeps being priced as a dog, there could be some value in spots. OKC still has the upper hand overall, but they may no longer be offering the best bang for your buck on the money line. It's a classic case of momentum versus market inflation. All right, so let's jump to the series betting lines. You can see OKC is the clear favorite here at minus 330 on the series line, and they're also favored by a game and a half at minus 135. Whereas Minnesota, they open up as kind of the value side, right? If you're looking for that plus money, they're a plus 265 to win the series, and then at 1.5 games, to cover 1.5 games, they're a plus 115. So this means the books expect a pretty clear OKC win, but you're paying a hefty premium for that ticket, as you can see. Now, let's jump over to our 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations. You can see OKC is, it looks like when you run the model, they look like they're going to win 58% of these matchups, but that's lower than the market implies, right? This creates a value gap between Minnesota, and Minnesota may be undervalued in this matchup, especially for bettors looking for a contrarian edge. So that 42% probability for Minnesota isn't a small number when you're getting plus 265 on the series. You always have to factor that in. Now let's take a look at the model. They obviously got the spread edge with Minnesota. So the model is saying that Minnesota, they could cover that 1.5 games, just according to us, which would be plus money at plus 115. Then the model also likes OKC on the line at that minus 330. So that means that the series total will be over. That's projected because of the pace and scoring metrics from earlier slides to back that up. So if you want my summary on this game, this is a spot where the favorite might win the series, but the underdog could win the value. So the Thunder are favored for a reason, but if you're betting the series line or game by game spread, Minnesota is the sharper side, especially early. So consider betting the Timberwolves to cover or taking them for a game or two outright if the prices stay inflated. You don't have to pick the winner to make money here, you just need to beat the number. And that's exactly what I'm thinking here in terms of just personally. Anthony from Grandstand Sports Data. I'm really liking that plus 1.5 in Minnesota to cover at that plus 115 number. I'm really liking that. The model's done well on the spreads. Even my analysis, I think this is going to be a tough series. I think Oklahoma City playing tougher competition this playoffs. I'm not saying that they're bad, and I'm not saying that they're not still going to win. I do see this going 7 games. So Minnesota, if it does go 7 games, covers the spread. Duh. So you take that at plus 115. I really like that, if you're asking me personally. So like always, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. We hope that you got some awesome information from this video. Now, don't forget to subscribe to Grandstand Sports Data for more great shows like this one. Also, don't forget to give this video a like, share with your friends, and then leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win the series. That's all for now, and we'll see you guys in the next one.